Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and long time no see. I know, it's been a few months. You know what? I wore myself out. I had to take a break, had to take a breath, step back for a little bit. I'm finally getting around to quilt my December quilt-along quilt, my snowflake quilt. I am so excited for this video. I was very excited. I kind of made the beginning part of it. I just never got to the quilting part. I just wore myself out. I slept all of December and most of January. And then I hit the ground running and now I'm working again. But I did my layout. So we talked about using Pro Stitcher Designer to create your blocks and do all that. Well, I actually went in, I created my layout for the quilt, because I'm stitching negative space. So if things are off a little bit, that's okay. It's not like I'm stitching ditches or anything. So I have this layout that I've made. I digitized it because I'm gonna stitch it out because it'll be my negative space, my white snowflakes that I'm gonna stitch. And I'm gonna be using, where's my, oh, there it is. I'm like, I know there's thread. I'm using Magnifico 2001. It's some type of white. It might just be white, it might be bright white. I actually don't know the color or the name, but it is Magnifico 2001. I wanna give it a little bit of shine. And so what I did is I made this layout, but I created this layout where the top corner of the quilt, because I used my quilt as a backdrop, is at 0, in the Pro Stitcher, in the designer universe. But because I did that, I'm gonna be able to basically position this exactly where it would be in real time on my quilt, because I put that 0 at the top left corner of my quilt. So when I load this quilt, I can bring this design up, and again, this is just the negative space design. I can bring the design up, stick my needle at the top left corner of my quilt, reposition 0, and then everything's gonna be laid out for me. So I'm kind of excited to show you how to do that, and then I'm just gonna go in and quilt some background fills. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. I was thinking straight lines, but I don't think I wanna do that. If I can find an echo foot, I think I'm gonna use the 1/2" echo foot instead of using my 1/4" foot that I'm usually using, and just do some almost like, I don't know, concentric lines. I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it, but that's what I'm gonna do, I think, unless I change my mind before I get there. But before we get into the video, remember, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. They will be more sporadic, so having that bell icon will make you notified when those new videos do come out. But I am very excited about today's video because what I did is, we created our designs in Designers. I was showing you how to digitize those designs so you can use them in stitching your negative space. Well, I did my full layout with a backdrop of my quilt. So I digitized a true picture of my quilt, used that as my backdrop, put all my designs put all my designs where I wanted them. I ended up copying and flipping and whatever. You'll see whenever you see the video. But then I aligned the top corner of my quilt. Like, I did all of this knowing where that was on the X and Y axis inside Designer. So when I digitized this with the top left corner of my quilt at the 0 mark inside Designer. So now when I get my quilt loaded, I can easily just put my needle, my laser light at my needle, or my needle right in that top left corner, reposition 0, and all of this negative space stitching is gonna be lined up perfectly. If it's off a little bit, it's negative space, it's not really gonna matter, but it's a way to line everything up, and then I can advance, drag and drop, do all the normal things, and stitch all these negative space designs, and then I'm just gonna go in with a background fill that matches my, my background. So all of these are gonna be stitched in yellow. This is yellow. Colorblind. It's going to be stitched in white. This is Magnifico 2001. I don't know the technical name for it, but it's 2001. I want the extra shine, and I might double run these. So I might have it stitch each one twice to get an extra thick border, since it is the negative space, and I do want it to stand out a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see whenever I get to the machine. But without further ado, let's go over to the machine and see what's going on there. I'm going to finish loading this up. I am using just one layer of wool batting. There's nothing behind it, and my quilt is all ready to go. So I'm going to stitch this down, get it fully loaded, and then we'll come back when we start working on the Pro Stitcher. See you in a second. All right, so here we are. I am loaded. Pro Stitcher is up. Let me turn this light off because I don't think we need it. There we go. Pro Stitcher is up. I'm going to open my design. File, design, open. Oops. And this is on my D drive, and I named it Snowflake, Blue Snowflake Adam So Fun Video. And so this is the design that I digitized. So this is basically my piece blocks are over here, and this is negative space blocks on the other side. I'm going to try to keep my hands out of the way when I can because I know that it rezooms when I do that. So, so now this is specifically placed for my quilt. I did that. You saw me do that in Pro Stitcher Designer. It opened at the start point of that first block. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you down to my top and zoom out. So here's my top. Remember, I put this corner, can you even see that corner? Yeah. So I put this corner up here as my 0, 0 mark for reposition 0. So I'm going to move my machine over there. Now let's go back to the screen. And, oops, probably too far. So now I'm going to go to my reposition tab, and I have to leave my machine there because I'm using my crosshairs. Remember, there's my zoom out. Crosshairs represent your needle, and reposition moves using your crosshairs. So I'm going to hit modify, reposition in my ribbon. We have all these options over here, and I want to hit the 0. And we'll see that it's going to take some of that top row out and out of the sides of my quilt. It's going to take some of this outside. Some of these are on the outside, and that is by design. I like to stitch off the sides of my quilt, especially when I'm doing negative space things, because it makes it look like those things are living out there. I'm going to crop those off because I don't want to stitch that far off my quilt. But now I know that everything is laid out to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to move my machine. Let's see, I'm going to zoom out and see if I can. So I'm going to move my machine over here to where these this snowflake is. And if I look at the screen and where those two snowflakes are, I'm going to come over here. See how I have that gap right there in my design? Right here. Again, that's by design. So there's a snowflake. Basically, a snowflake lives. I'll just create an area so you can see this. I don't need this area. I'm just showing you how this is working. That's the corner. That's a corner. And I'm going to work my way around this. There's one that also comes down here. So that is where there's snowflakes in my quilt top. There's also one that starts about here. I can't get to the rest of it, but it lives about there. So all of these spaces are empty because these things are going to be working together. So that was a way to be able to line everything up for my quilt top without having to like redo it. This is exactly the placement that I want. So my next step is I'm going to create an area around, let me go down. I'm going to create an area just around the outside. I don't even think, I'm just going to go a little bit off the side. Oh, you can't see it. There we go. I'm going to go a little bit off the side. Usually I go like an inch or so. I'm only going to go a 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to multi-point this. Up here, I'm even going to go shorter than that because I plumb lined across the top. Now we can shoot to the other side. So if I look and we look back at our screen, we are going to have some designs. Let me just move this in front of us so I don't have to twist it. We're going to have some designs that are going to get cropped. And again, I'm okay with that because that is the part of the design of how I did this. I am going to zoom into here, and I probably won't stitch that if that's so far out because that's even off the side of my quilt. I wonder if that was one that I didn't need and I forgot to move it. But whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch these 4 that we can see. Oh, modify, crop, outside edges, baseline. So now I'm gonna stitch these 4, and then I can decide if I want to stitch, if I want to baste, or if I'm gonna roll and just do all of these. I think my process is going to be stitch all of these in, and then go on and I think I might stitch the ditch in the white. I am gonna stitch the ditch in the white. So I'm gonna stitch the ditches, and then I'll roll because everything will be stuck into place, and then I can come back and do my background fill. All right, so I'm gonna stitch this design, and I'm going to, let me show you what I'm gonna do on my screen here really quick. So, I'm in Pro Stitcher Quilts. I have all my things selected. Usually I tie off at the beginning, I tie off the end, pull up auto. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to put my we're gonna put the pull up on, or we're gonna keep pull up auto on. I'm gonna turn off the tie off at the end because remember, I think I'm gonna stitch these twice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have it stitch. It's gonna tie off at the beginning. It's gonna stitch everything. My jumps are set to 0. You can do that in settings, auto jump 0. I have changed my defaults. So at the end, it's gonna say long jump pause. I'm gonna hit cancel. I'll bring you back here when I do it. And I'm gonna rerun this, and I'm gonna turn the start and the pull up off that time, but turn the end on. And it's gonna do a double run of this design, so that design, so the lines are extra thick. So I'm gonna tilt you down so you can watch it stitch. And I need my scissors. Everything is good. So 2 things I want you to see. Can you see how it folded over the sides? This is why we use the glide foot. I'm gonna be using ruler, so I have my Surefoot on. I knew that this was gonna happen, but this is what the glide foot was made for. It won't fold your sides over when you're stitching on and off. It also stitches over all of those thick seams. So we're going back to the top really quick. And if I look here, long jump pause. I'm just gonna hit cancel. Pro Stitcher Quilt. This time I don't want it to tie off, and I haven't moved my machine. It's where it stopped, and the start and the stop are in the same place. I'm gonna turn off pull up and pull up auto. I'm just gonna hit run. It's gonna stitch that whole thing again. Oh no, I wanna turn on my tie offs at the end. And now my line is extra thick. So, do my tie off. So there's my first piece. If I go back to the beginning, if I go back to the top, zoom out, it's gonna go stitch my next one. So I can come over here. And maybe, oops, that's my outdoor. Look, we had it new planted. So we're going to come over here. Where's my next piece? There. Maybe we'll stitch out these 4, and then I'll do the rest without you, so you don't have to watch this all over. So now I'm here. I do want to go to my Pro Stitcher Quilt, because I want my start back on, turn off my end. I want my pull up and my pull up auto on. And now I can hit resume because it wants to go to that next spot. I missed my bobbin thread, so I just hit cancel. When that happens, I usually just hit cancel. Make sure I cut my bobbin long enough. I wonder if that's what happened. All right, I checked my bobbin, everything's looking good. I need to move to this next jump point because I hit cancel, so pro stitch your new start end. And actually, I might bring I'm going to use my umps. Umps and jumps are the same. So I'm going to bring my start point down. I'm going to bring my end point to the same thing. So I don't have to worry about it jumping. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it down there. Okay, so there we are. Run, proceed. And just like we did last time, I'm going to hit cancel. I'm pro stitch your quilt. I'm going to turn my start tie off, my pull up and pull up auto off, and turn my end tie off on and hit run. Now you can't see it in the video. I'm gonna zoom in. I want you to notice this. Oops. So we're using thick batting. In that first seam, see how these are not perfectly on top of each other, but everything else is? This first seam is kind of basting. If you're gonna do something like this and you want it to be absolutely perfect and you're using a thick batting like wool or poly puff, basting this before you do this step is gonna give you more precise lines that stitch on top of each other, because it's right now this first line is shifting the fabric, and because everything shifts as it's getting stitched, this next line is probably not going to be right on top of it. The same thing happened over, oh, I just pointed. The same thing happened over here. Not as bad there, but it did happen, but all the rest of the lines are good. So it's just something to be aware of. So I'm going to leave you looking at the quilt, and I'm going on to do my next two. So there we have it. My first pass is stitched. I will also go in, I'm gonna stitch these ditches so when I advance I don't have to worry about basting. And so I'm gonna finish all this and we'll come back whenever I start to do the fills. I forgot to mention this, so we'll talk about it really quick. So I'm getting ready to advance. I have my design, I need to advance so I can stitch the rest of it. I stitched my ditches and everything, so basically this pass is done other than my fills. When I get to this point, I'm just gonna undo all this. I cropped, closed my edges, and I hit baseline. I'm just gonna come over here and hit undo until my design comes back. I can go to my area tab and hit clear, and now I am free to advance. I'm just gonna use my normal advancing method where I don't put the needle down because it doesn't have to be super accurate, and I have a lot of points that I can work with from these designs. So it's just bring up my clamps, bring up my ratchets, advance my quilt, get everything tight, base down the sides, put on my side clamps, and then I can do my drag and drop method. There's a video for that. But you do want to undo until you get back to have your full design, because you're going to need those designs to stitch out. All right, so I'm at the bottom. I'm done. Let me see if I can turn the lights off so we can see it a little better. I don't even know if that worked. No, it made it worse. All right, so I'm done. I have my negative space thing stitched. So now I am going to be using an Echo foot. So I have my pack of Echo feet. You get 3/8, 1/2, and 3/4 inch feet. They are plastic because they are easier to see through than the older ones, and that disc around it on the older ones could fail and come off. I actually had that done on a live one time. So this is the 3/4, this is the 3/8, and I have the 1/2 foot on. You do want to be careful when you're putting the plastic feet on. Don't tighten that screw too tight. Tight enough that it's not going to jiggle around, but if you tighten this too much, it's going to snap at the neck. So some people put a washer. If I can figure out what size washer it's supposed to be, I will pass that on. Let me see. I'll bring you up close. I'm just going to stitch some it's not straight lines because it's like concentric lines, whatever. That's the design I'm going to do. I have to change my thread, change my bobbin. I'll still put everything through the TOA, but let me get you up close and let you see what this thing looks like so far. I was going to stitch an echo around everything. I don't want to do that because I just want to get this done. So basically, I'm going to change my thread. There's my 1/2 inch echo foot, and I'm just going to start stitching and fill in all my negative space. So we'll see you back here in a second, and I'll let you watch me stitch. All right, I'm going to start stitching. You're either going to be able to see it or not. Oh, I turned my gears off. I'm going to try to stay out of the way, but a lot of times I need 2 hands to drive. You'll be able to see it or not see it. If you can't see it, I'll watch the video and then we just won't include this part. I don't know. We'll see. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a square. I'm going to come over. I have my echo foot on. So this is going to give me a somewhat of a 1/2 inch line. And I'm just eyeballing. And now I have my basic shape, and I'm going to build off of this. I also just changed my bobbin. So I'm checking tension, but everything looks good. I changed the bobbin and the color and everything. So I don't want to just continue making the same one. So I might move up. I just got myself in a jam because there's a weird line missing there. Oh, I have an idea. I did leave a big square here. I can go back and fill it in. So this is kind of what I'm going to do and continue along. These pointy, this is probably not the best design to get inside some of these points. But hey, I'm going to make it work. And you'll notice I'm not using a ruler. I'm just driving. This is fine. This is background. Whatever. I'm going for whatever it looks. Now I know some of you are going to be perfectionists and be like, oh my gosh, I need to use channel locks and a ruler and all of that stuff. That's fine. If that's you, use your channel locks, use a ruler. Again, I'm just like going for it. I might use a ruler kind of going up these diagonals, especially since I'm kind of trying to backtrack. And you can use a ruler with the echo feet. It's one of the things I really like about them. And sometimes for these, I'll just do a line straight out and back. Now when I do this, when I got that, can you see? Oops! Let me see. So see that big blue line? I might rip that out. I probably won't. I don't even know. I might rip that out. I should be a little more careful. I usually leave those in, especially since it's just a little wall hanging or whatever. But I do try not to do that. I tried really hard apparently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come back this way and fill in this area because you can see that area the best on the screen, I think. I wonder if I side light you. Let's try something. I just have to be able to see. Does that help any? A little bit. I'm gonna try to finish this. Actually, we'll just put it back on. And I'm gonna finish quilting the rest of this. We'll come back at the very end. That's just making me giggle. I needed a good laugh. Not that it wasn't a good laugh, but hey, it was a laugh. I can't find my skinny ruler, my 2x10 skinny ruler. This feels very awkward in my hand. Oh, ooh, this one might work. This is this is the mini ruler. Can you see that? I call it the skinny mini. So I'll try to use this one. I don't like the stoppers, especially with the echo foot on. But so about this, because I'm giggling about the blue stitches and stuff, especially with these quilt-alongs, unless you're gonna put this in a show, you're probably doing something out of the blue. Maybe you've never done this design. I've never actually stitched this design before. I've done stuff similar, but maybe you're doing a new design. These little bobbles and these little things, it is just a quilt. I don't know how I can't say it enough. It's just a quilt. At the end of the day, it's just quilting. Have fun. Like you see me, I'm just laughing about it. It's not a big deal. I can come back and rip some stitches if I need to. I'm really excited about how this design is taking shape. I wasn't sure how it was gonna look whenever I decided to do it. But yeah, just have a good time. Have fun stitching. These little projects are so good to practice something you haven't done on. Not trying to be the best or not trying to be perfect. You always want to try to be your best. And just have a good time. This is the first time my long arm's been on for probably 2 months. I just haven't had the drive to stitch here. I still stitch in class and everything, but this is making me laugh is just reminding me how much I love long arming and how that is I just love to do it. I love to be in front of it, and I'm sad that I haven't turned it on for 2 months. So I'm gonna finish this. We'll see you here in a minute. I threw in a triangle. I might add some triangles now because I like that angle. So yeah, so this is, let me see if I come this way. Uh-oh, you're stuck on something. So that's kind of what it's looking like. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna finish this pass. I'm kind of excited. I really like this. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'll finish the pass, come back, we'll see you in a minute. All right, so there is my first pass. All right, that's the end of my first pass. I'm going to just leave my needle down, advance, just continue building this up as I go, and we'll see you back here when it's done. All right, everyone, so that is quilting this out, using that zero placement to quilt it out, and then going in with free motion and doing my straight lines. I'll hold it up in a second. Thank you for taking this journey with me. It's been fun kind of reliving this, especially in the video I said it was the first time I quilted in the new year. So I basically didn't quilt December to February because I was just exhausted. So this was the first thing I loaded. I will forever leave my little mistake in here. It even now it makes me laugh because it's not a big deal. who cares? I can look at this and know that like I was laughing so much whenever I did it. So yeah, it's just one of those things. This is the final quilt. It's like 4 a.m. right now. I'm getting ready to leave on to an event, and I forgot to record this yesterday, and I can't even cut the sides off because my cutting table's full. But this is how it turned out. I actually kind of love it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you might try this process of doing a layout in Pro Stitcher Designer and then bringing it over with zero placement. Especially, like I said, when you're doing negative space things, it is an amazing feature. So I'm going to take a picture of this so I can post it here. But as always, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. Don't forget to like me on social media, Adam's So Fun with an SEW on Facebook and Instagram. And you know, we always say, oh, I made a Dia de los Muertos quilt. I'm so excited for this. Unfortunately, I didn't finish it yesterday because I did a bunch of other things, but I will post pictures as soon as, well, my alarm went off, making sure that I was ready to go to the airport. But you know what we say, at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have a good time. I will post pictures of Dia de los Muertos on my Facebook and Instagram pages whenever I get it done, probably next week when I get home. I only have 2 more little spots. So until then, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you.